Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to South Bank, and I'm joined today by Councillor Peter Maddock, the Chairman for Public and Active Transport, and also Greg Swan, the CEO of Brisbane Lions, and Justin Leppitsch, the coach, and some of the players. We welcome all of them to be here today as we celebrate the launching of the Lion Cat. The Lion Cat is actually a city cat called Binung Yurung, and it means Highgate Hill, an Indigenous word, of course, meaning Highgate Hill. This city cat is going to commemorate and indeed celebrate the Brisbane Lions. This is a club that's been formed in 1996, the same year that City Cats were launched on our river. And we very much look forward to, as a part of the whole Team Brisbane program, the Lion Cat being out there on the water, where our city can help celebrate with them and help them on their way as they fight each premiership each year. Now, I'd just like to invite, perhaps at this stage, Councillor Maddock initially to say a few quick words, and then we'll hand over to Justin.
Thanks, me. Oh, well, good morning. We are here today to launch our Lion City Cat. As a council, we want to do everything we can to help promote our city and what's great about it. And the Lions are such an important part of our local community, our great sporting community. So it's a great pleasure for us to be able to work in partnership with them to deliver this great outcome. The cat also symbolises our great sense of community, and when people go inside it, they'll be able to see footage of all the great moments that the Lions have enjoyed and be part of that great celebration. Our city cats are a great tourist attraction, they're a great public transport attraction, and importantly also, they're a great community attraction as well.
Okay, Justin.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Lord Mayor. Thanks, Councillor. Well, what an honour for our football club to be on the river 24/7. It's terrific to see our Lions colours out here in such a, I guess, a really important and a big part of Brisbane, our City Cats. So the Lion Cat, it's fantastic to see, and all our supporters. It's great for the growth of our brand, and yeah, it's going to be interesting and weird to be being around Brisbane and jumping on a City Cat with our own colours on it. But fantastic, and I'd just like to thank the Lord Mayor and the Councillor for including the Brisbane Lions in this. We're a big part of this state, and we're a big part of Brisbane, so it's a fantastic honour. Thank you.
It's great that you included the Lions in the City Cat program. Are you going to, is the council looking at chipping in and helping the club with the training and admin base in the future? Well,
look, we've had discussions previously around that with Lions, and we're certainly, the door is always open in terms of discussions around that. So we've had meetings with some of the board members around that in particular, and again, we don't have any closed doors here. We're happy to continue those discussions.
And it hasn't been all smooth sailing for the club this year.
Well, I think.
Tish, but I mean, the Lions as part of this, do you feel like, because you're not involved with the club as well, do you feel like that they'll bounce back and you'll? Oh,
look, I'm sure they will. The Lions have got a young side, they're a developing side, and this was always going to be a tough year this year. I think everyone appreciated that. But you've got to support your local teams in the good years and the bad years, and I just encourage every Brisbane citizen to get out there and to get to the Gabba whenever the Lions are playing, get into state when they're playing, to back them where you possibly can as well. And look, the Broncos are having a big year this year in rugby league. That wasn't always so in recent years, and I'm sure the Lions can bounce back from where they are this year. As I say, it's been a developing year for the club. And in terms of the other issue you've raised, there's been obviously within the club some discussions in previous years around where those training headquarters ought to be set up. But we'll always stand ready to have discussions with the club. So look, we're going to go on a cat and have a little bit of a burn up the river. You'll be able to see the livery and so forth inside the cat as well that goes with it. So,
thank you.
You're all the best, mate.
Yeah. Well, Leppitsch, how's morale amongst the group as the season comes to a close nearly?
Look, it's pretty good. For 2 games out, and it's difficult. You see the results on the weekend and the teams that are out of the finals. There's some heavy losses going on at the moment. So there's always a challenge when there's no end in sight and no finals in sight. But look, for a team where we are and the high injury rate that we have, the mood around the place is pretty good. But we know there's a lot of work to do. It's never great when you've only had 3 wins, but yeah, we know there's some work to do.
Our journos down south, even though you guys have denied infighting, they seem adamant that there is infighting at the club. Do you see any sign of that?
Well, I don't know how they'd know. That's the difficulty. I mean, we can deal with the facts on the inside, and there's papers to be sold and stories to be had. So when you're down near the bottom, the cracks appear to be wider. But winning papers all over the cracks, doesn't it? Everyone knows that. So when you're near the bottom, people are looking for something. So we've got a healthy list. We've got you know, as far as players contracted, kids are staying. There's none of those issues. So long term, we're in good shape.
There's been intense scrutiny, hasn't there? I suppose the last couple of weeks, particularly in the press. And does that get into the players' heads? Is that something you've had to combat?
Oh no, I think nowadays people are used to it and players are used to it. It's just a part of the course. I expect it, to be honest. I don't expect us to be sitting, you know, in the bottom of the ladder and not copping scrutiny. It's, you know, we welcome it. We're here to get better. So, you know, we constantly give feedback to each other on how to get better. A lot of the things we can fix short term. Some things we need time though, and it's a young team and we need to develop. But yeah, there has been some unfortunate parts of the year as well with our injury list. I mean, last year we had a high injury rate, and this year it's extreme. So those things don't help a young team either. So there's things that we know we can't control per se, but there is some things we can, and we've got to get them right.
What do you keep saying to the guys? How do you get them up?
I think positivity is the best way. I mean, it is difficult for our group, but looking at the tasks you need to perform. I mean, everyone's got their own 2% to improve, and if that happens, collectively we get better as a group. Me as coach, down to all the players, staff, everybody. So the worst thing that can happen is you start looking at others and pointing fingers at others, but internally we all have to look at ourselves and get better.
Has this been the toughest year for you in your football career?
No, in my life. Look, I always knew the challenge of this club when we lost some young talent a couple of years ago, and we've had 5 retirements now, 6 retirements on the list. That's a pretty big hole when you look at the gaps that need to be filled. But I think we've done some good work in the background. The kids we've recruited, and even last year our trading period was fantastic. You know, we got 3 of the best guys in the trade period last year. So I mean, I've got a feeling all that good work that's been done in the last couple of years hasn't hit the football field just yet, but you'll find it will flow on.
Getting those draft picks though, how do you go about getting the right selections, making sure that it's a long-term, in your opinion?
Oh, look, we know what we need as far as recruitment and draft selections and in the trade. Sometimes you can get it right now, other times it's just not available. Everyone knows we're in a big, mature key position forward, but clubs don't throw them away, they're hard to find. So we're going to develop our own, and we've got that there, and we think we've got a plan for that. A big part of our game and why it's falling apart is our aerial work in the 50s. I mean, in the forward 50 and defensive 50. So you can play as well as you like through the midfield, but if you keep losing the ball close to goal at either ends, that's where the easy scores come in for both teams. But there's still a lot of upside. We've been in front a quarter time for I think about 7 or 8 games this year, and fallen away. So there's enough good form in there. It just hasn't come out consistently enough.
Do you expect Redo to stay Lepper? And the second part of the question, does he deserve a lot of credit for toughing out the year when he's had a bad groin that's really affected his form?
Well, there's a lot of players that deserve credit for toughing out the year. I mean, Redo's played all year with a sore groin. Everyone knows that he's going in for surgery now, so he's out for the rest of the year. We have discussions all the time. He's got no intention to leave. Zorko's got no intention to leave. Steph's got no intention to leave. It's hard to actually constantly refute things, and because all they do is people just say, well, I hear something different. So what are you going to do? Like, we can keep going around in circles all day. All we can do is say, I guess, wait for the trade period, and let's all just shut up and wait and see what happens. And if you're right, you're right. If you're not, you're not.
Just on the leadership issue again, Justin, do you have any issues with Rocky's leadership style? Is it something that you've raised with him?
No, well, there's no issue. He's a first-year captain, but he's been likened to Luke Hodge. I mean, even Michael Voss in his time, he was a hard leader. I mean, he'd do running on a track with Vossi, and he'd say, that's it, we're doing more. And he'd be demanding more out of the group. We've got to keep those high standards. We've got to encourage those high standards. But as a football club, we've been low for a long time now. 7, 8 years. It's a long time we've been out of the race. So we need high standards. So that's what this footy club's doing. We want to put that in place.
So you're saying that's a strength of Tom's?
That's a massive strength. But in that overly strong individuals, as we all know, can cross the line as well. But that needs just constant, coaching along the way, as we all do. So, but there's no issue. If anything, we like that style. We want more of Tom's style, those that want to get better and those that want to get the best out of others. So we encourage that, but we also temper it with, making sure that everything's done in the right way, and if there is an issue, we follow up and make sure that everyone's okay.
Lepper, sorry, just on the key forwards, are you sort of resigned to having to develop your own and not being able to get one through a trade?
It seems to be the case, Michael. But we've got some good keys and some good young keys. But you're right, we do have to develop our own. And we know with young keys it doesn't happen overnight either. So we do have some some issues there that we know can't be fixed overnight, but we're hell bent on making it better and making it better as quick as we can.